If you open up the Urban Elements page, the first thing you'd want to do is sign in to your account. Um, that way you can access the design wall and it will save the information for the quilt and the patterns that you're using. So I'm going to open up design wall by clicking on it here. It's in the upper right hand side, right up with the shopping cart and your wish list. When you open up the design wall, what you will see is a really brief set of instructions. And in order to add any of the quilting designs to the design wall, there's a D icon on each page next to the quilting patterns, and we'll show you that in just a second. To upload an image of your quilt, you're going to hit Browse first and find that onto your computer. And then we're going to click Upload Image. Now this isn't necessary for using the design wall, but it just helps if you're actually wanting to see what quilting designs would look like on a specific quilt. You can change the thread color by clicking the box below. It says click to select a thread color. And you can add a thumbnail image to the design wall canvas by hovering over the image and clicking add to canvas. I'll show you that here in just a second. There's further instructions here on how to delete an image and how to clear the design wall and how to share it to social media if you want to get input from some of your friends and coworkers on what you're doing or what choices you'd like to make. So if I hit upload image first, we're going to get an error message because we haven't selected anything yet. So first we're going to hit browse, and I have in my download file a photo of the Dog Park Block of the Month quilt that I recently have finished. And I'm not sure if that video is posted yet, but you'll get a sneak peek here. And now I'm going to go ahead and click upload image because I've already selected it here. You can see here that it has the JPEG listed. So when I hit upload image down here on our canvas, my quilt picture is going to appear. And it took just a few seconds, but you can now see that I have the Dog Park Block of the Month quilt selected. It's not a perfect picture. There's a little bit of the design wall showing, but I'm going to go ahead and use this because it's good enough for my purpose today. But what we want to do now is look for some designs that we might think would be cute for working on this quilt. So I'm typing in pause to see if we get the it's spinning up here, so we know that it's working. If we get a quilting design for a different paws that we could use, there's several on here. We have quite a few different things to choose from. Meows, wolf, let's see, dog treats. So let's see, which one do I want to choose? I'm going to choose puppy paws, and I've clicked that. That's now appeared for us to play with. Now let's see if I can go back to my search again. We have quilting for paws dogs, and I like this one with the heart. So again, we're just going to select, this would be our wish list. And this one here is our design wall. This is the D that we're clicking to get this to appear on our design wall. So now we have two different designs to choose from. And there's one that I've been thinking about, and I know the name of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this one as well. And that's Malachite. It's a favorite of mine. So I'm going to go ahead and select D again, which will add Malachite to the design wall as well. And now what we have to do, when we hover over any of these three designs, and we could have more designs than what appear here. So you have a sliding bar here which would show you other designs that may not be visible at the moment. So we could add to canvas, add to cart, or delete this option. Add to canvas is going to bring one square, one copy of that design down to the design board so we can see what it looks like. If we didn't like it, we could delete it, but if we wanted to purchase it, we could directly add it to cart here. And this is another good reason why you want to sign in, because this will help keep track of your purchases in case something happens on your computer and you need to download another digital file, or you want to make sure you didn't order it twice. The Urban Elementz website keeps track of your purchases so that you can find that information later. So we're going to go ahead and click Add to Canvas, and you can see right here where my mouse is, we have an image of that. So I can go ahead and slide it up to the top. There's little blue boxes on the corner that are a little bit hard to see, but they're there. Those will allow you to increase or decrease the size that the design is. And there's also a box up here that would allow you to rotate it. So those are options that you have for working with the design. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the corner, and I'm going to add a couple more of them. I'm going to try and roughly size them the same. And you'll notice that there isn't a standard position where the design is going to show up. It's kind of a random pattern where it's going to fit. So now I basically have one row of quilting as you would see it on an edge-to-edge pattern. There's a little space here that I haven't done, and you could do that if you wanted. I'm going to go ahead and choose a different design. And we are working with some of the designs. This particular one, the paws with the heart, you can see the line is a little bit thicker. That's something that won't happen in the future, but we are still working with the design. It doesn't really bother me because it makes it a little bit easier to see, but it is something that will be corrected so it's not quite so emphasized on the finished piece. So now we have two different rows to look at. We have the paws and the heart. And now I'm going to try Malachite. And instead of resizing Malachite, I'm just going to leave it as is. So it makes it a little bit easier for me to connect the dots. Now you can see it overlapped a little bit and made it a little bit harder for me to find which one was which, but it doesn't matter because in the end we will get it all together. And did another one come down? I don't see it. Okay, it's up here. You can see whatever is not on the canvas will disappear, And here we could select thread color if we want to see what different colors would look like. And you can see on the last design here that it selected that color because that was the one that was highlighted. So if you wanted to do a specific thread color, you might want to try that while they're still up on the clipboard here, or you could go through piece by piece and select the same one over and over. You can see as I'm selecting each block that it's changing the color to that thread color, and perhaps that would make it easier for you to see, so you could select. Now if you realize that you don't like a specific one, all you have to do to remove it is just drag it. I'm clicking on the design, keeping my finger on the mouse button and dragging it off the screen, and that would basically eliminate that choice. So in this case, the paws with the heart, I don't like that option, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it from the design wall. And now we're down to 2 designs. And here's, you can see the black thread, and you can see that kind of a violet purple color that I selected afterwards. So if you wanted to continue on this vein, you can go ahead. I'm changing the thread color back to the black, or at least a dark color, just so it's visible. But really, we could do anything. I could, because this has orange and purple, have done the purple thread. I could play with the orange color, and you can see that here popping in. I'm going to do some of these puppy paws in this bright orange, and you can see as I do it that the design is changing colors. And this is also a good way to audition some of your thread choices as well. Now after you get this all finished, choosing the design you like, you could share this on Pinterest, you could send it to a friend by email, or you could share it on your Facebook page. So those are really great options as well for sharing this with your friends and getting some input back on what option you might like to use. I don't think they have a variegated thread. That would have been fun. I like that purple. So I think for my particular top that I'm going to be doing, I think I decided quite a while ago that I liked the Malachite. And for me, the reason is that it goes along with the theme of the newspaper. The reason we chose the newspaper was because quite often dogs are potty trained on newspaper. And the reason we potty train them is because they make puddles. And to me, Malachite just looked like little potty puddles on the newsprint. So I just thought it was cute. The puppy paws is a novelty print, and we have a novelty fabric or a novelty block. So for me, that's just a little bit too twee, a little bit too predictable. But this is the fun of quilting. It's an opportunity for you to choose things that represent your personality. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the paw option, and I'm going to just continue changing the Malachite to the purple color. I'm not convinced that that's the color that I'll quilt it in, but it's certainly a thread option. And I can just continue on. I'm going to go ahead and delete this paws off of the design wall as well. So what I'm left with is Malachite. And I'm going to add to canvas. And see, now that I've selected the color, each time I add Malachite to the canvas, it's going to come in at that thread color that I've selected. Sometimes it overlaps there. It's a little bit hard to see. And in fact, I don't see where that one is. Is it somewhere in there? And you could take as much time with this as you wanted. It's just a helpful tool for you to audition some of these designs, which for many people is, one of the hard parts of doing the quilting, is trying to find the right pattern for a quilt. And another way that you could use this, if you were quilting for hire, you could select a couple designs that you have, that you like, that were from Urban Elementz, and send these to the client with the image of their quilt, and then they could select which one they liked. And it takes the responsibility off of you. Kind of like a little puzzle, seeing where each one goes to. So at this point, we just about have all of the quilt covered. I'm going to add one more for this very bottom corner. And then there you go. So now I can go ahead from here and add to cart, but truth of the matter is I already have this design on my IntelliQuilter, so I don't have to worry about purchasing this. But this is how you could purchase it right from here. I could share it on Pinterest, email, or Facebook. I'm clicking on Facebook. And I'm just going to go ahead and post to Facebook, and this will go ahead and post, but you could have said something about choosing options for a quilt if you had more than one. But it's just a nice way of getting some feedback or showing people what you're working on, because everybody loves social media. So after you're done with this, what you could do is just select clear all, and that's going to go ahead and take everything off. From here you could hit the delete button like we have previously, and that's going to eliminate Malachite from my design selections. But I still have my quilt. But when I'm ready to move on, then I could go ahead and delete the whole thing. I'm also going to go ahead and select to save this particular image on my downloads in case I want to use it for the cover photo for the video. So I've saved a copy on my computer. You could share it on Pinterest, email, or Facebook. And it's just a fun experiment, something you could be doing on a rainy day if you weren't quilting, or if you're planning ahead. You could upload an image from an actual quilt pattern, one of their nice glossy images, and work on designs from there. But it could just be a design exercise. So there's a lot of options here. Again, you have a copy on your computer. It's very easy to use. All of the instructions on how to use it are right here on the page. And we hope that you find it as useful and interesting as we do. And I'm looking forward to adding this to some of the videos that will be digitally quilted, so I can go through some of the design decisions behind why we choose or why I choose a specific quilting pattern or color thread. So that's going to wrap it up from the computer today, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Well, that's going to do it for us today. I hope that you enjoyed the process of the design board and that you found it informational, educational, useful, and I hope that it's something that you'll use in the future when you're trying to pick a quilting design for yourself. But thank you for taking the time to join us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.